We just saw season 3, episode 3 of Gilmore Girls. The 3 and 3 throws me off, even though it should make it easier. But anyway, I just saw it for the 500 millionth time.
I just saw it for the first time. Hi, I'm Carrie.
I'm Chemda. We're Gilmore Friends, and we have things to say about this. Let's see. Was this a powerful episode for you?
This was a very powerful episode. I don't know if it was a powerful episode.
I don't know either. It's weird because in this episode, I feel like there are not quotable, but like notable experiences. The Harvard application, certain interactions are stuck with me, but because I'm watching it one at a time with you, and like each episode is now just one entity instead of streaming one into the other after you watch it so many times, I'm like, this episode has a little bit of a weird feeling.
Yes, this is a weird episode. I don't think it didn't advance a lot of plot forward. Like, we knew she was going to apply to Harvard anyway. Did this need to be an episode?
Right.
And like, we knew she was going to spaz out about it.
I guess you're right about that. I never thought of
so like
we knew
and then,
that.
Like, there's the A plot was applying to Harvard. The B plot was Luke opening a soda shop. And then the C plot was Lane starting a band. I don't know. It was kind of all over the place, right?
It usually is.
Yeah.
And we usually have something to say about the all over the place. And what's interesting is about the all over the place changes in terms of like, it feels like a mess, but it also feels so cohesive, but only as an entire series. And like, were series doing that, where they skip entire plots and like inserting these weird 1-minute scenes?
Yeah.
Was I just not paying attention?
I don't know.
And this is how it goes?
Yeah. If I was watching this week to week, I feel like I could have skipped this week.
Interesting.
You know?
Okay, the soda shop, yes. Lane, I guess we can catch up on that in like one line. And Harvard, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like
right,
this whole episode could be followed up in like, you could catch this up in 40 seconds at the beginning of next episode.
You can, but there's something about it that I feel is important, but maybe I'm wrong. And like, this is why I want to go through it with you. It's part of why I want to go through because,
yeah, let's do it.
Because in my mind, this was always an important episode and I'm watching it with you. And sometimes I'm going, I have that feeling, that beginning, like when you recommend something to someone and I all of a sudden felt silly during the town meeting where I was like, what am I watching? Like, what am I making Carrie watch? Like, what even is this? This is
all right. So
the town
let's
meeting
get into
was
it.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yes.
But quickly, I just want to remind people to hit subscribe on whatever you're listening or watching. We recommend you listen and watch us on YouTube. And when you're on the YouTube, you can hit the subscribe button. Helps us out immensely. Thanks for that. As we know, I don't learn the titles of episodes until after we watch because every now and then they have spoilers in the title itself. So I only know that it's season 3, episode 3. I don't know the title. If I were to title this before we find out what the real title is, I would have called this Lane and Carol. Because these are the two characters that I wanted the episode to be about.
Oh, okay. The two artists, kind of, right?
The more interesting of the non-Harvard bound characters. I also would have called it Ye Old Harvard Shop. And shop is spelled Pete with 2 P's.
That's cute.
Ye Old Harvard Shop.
I like that one. Okay. I have raison d'etre. Okay, here's the problem. Did you hear that word in this episode? I don't know how to say it, and that was my problem.
Oh.
I didn't understand what he said, and for the first time, I needed to care about everything in the episode, like in detail. And so I looked it up, but I didn't know how to spell it because I can hardly say it. And Siri was like, raise the rent? No. Like, raise doubt? Like, oh my God. And finally, raison d'etre. D'etre.
I think it means the reason to be.
Yes.
Oh, but French. Thank you, French class.
Very nice. Very nice. Good job, Rory.
Thank you.
That's from the episode, of course. But And the other thing I wanted to call it is McBimbo Girls instead of
Nice.
Gilmore Girls. And the conveyor belt.
Yes.
Very interesting, the conveyor belt story.
I know. Very painful.
Yes,
Very dismissive of the desires.
Relatable. There was all kinds of stuff. See, this is why I think it was important. I think just that house was very, very important. There's just something about that house.
The Kennedys. All right. What was the real title?
Application anxiety.
Oh, okay.
Very straightforward.
I'm going to write that down.
Sometimes it's a reference. Sometimes, unless it's a reference and we don't even know. I just thought of that. Application anxiety. Who knows with Gilmore Girls, because every other word is becoming a reference. And my ego wants to know all the references, be like, totally know what they mean every single time. And it's not true. I will not and cannot. And that is annoying. Okay, so that's the actual title. Thoughts?
That I don't think that would have been a spoiler.
No.
But I think I predicted a while ago that somehow Rory does not end up at Harvard. And I think this episode might have been planting the seeds for that. Maybe. I should save this for the end.
Oh, very interesting.
That might be
okay.
Okay, so the show opens. We get the Harvard application. They're talking.
Did you see how we got the Harvard application?
It comes in the mail, and
It comes in the mail. It comes inside your house. They were watching TV with the door ajar, the front door ajar.
Oh.
The mailman came inside, put it on something in the foyer.
Oh my God, I missed that.
And this is the first time I ever caught it.
Wow.
Right. Yes, this is the first time I ever caught it.
We got to find out that Kirk is the mailman for sure.
I had to rewind this and go, was the mailman just inside and I missed something? I looked down for a second. Yes, that's the scene.
That's amazing. The mailman puts his hand inside their house.
No, he comes into it. He just steps like one step into it, but his full body is inside the house. They go like, thanks, whoever your name is, like whatever his name is. And then he goes, yeah, whatever, and leaves.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some small townness.
That is. Yeah.
So then it's the application and they're, it's so heavy, blah, blah, blah. I remember getting the paper applications for colleges in the mail, and they were always thick packets and very exciting to open up because it's a little to-do list and a little project. And, so I guess that's a big moment. It was brought to our attention that in 2002 or 2003, when this aired, that we were already doing electronic applications.
That's interesting because I feel like it comes from a good source. Shout out. Shout out to Xerxes. But I thought at that time we were still in between. Some people were utilizing that source and a lot of people were not.
And I think the general watching TV public still thought college applications were on paper. Like, I feel like it didn't become ubiquitous to apply by computer there was a crossover, and this was in that crossover.
I mean, this is how I gauge it. In 2005, I started podcasting. And at that point, when people asked me what I did for a living, I had to say things like, I work on a computer. Because people, you know what I mean? Like I work computer, also worked, just saying the word computer, and people would stop asking you questions because they assumed they don't know what comes after that. They won't understand the language you just opened up. And I didn't know computer either. So
you didn't say like radio for the computer?
I tried, but then I would get comments like, oh, like in the basement of your mother's house, just.
And you could be like, kind of, except that's not the location, but.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a very strange time to talk about computers. So that was 2005. This is 2002. Also, when the show started, it was in the year 2000, and Emily wanted to put a DSL line in their home.
Right.
And we learned from that episode that 50% of people even only had internet in their home.
Exactly. So I feel like all of America was not applying to colleges via electronic by then, because it wasn't a given that everyone had a computer by then.
But even if they had the sources, they didn't have like there's like still, I think there was still a digital fear in doing that.
Yes. We didn't trust it. It's true. We didn't trust it. We didn't trust it would get there. We didn't trust it wouldn't be lost.
We didn't trust ourselves to.
But I mean, I applied to colleges.
I think there was a fear of like, oh, what if I push the wrong button even still, you know?
Yeah. Or that it could blink off the screen. Like we just didn't trust it.
Yeah.
I applied to college in 95 and it was not on the radar to do it electronically at all. I didn't have the internet at home. You know,
I didn't have
and it's
that.
possible my guidance counselor in my high school had it, but it was not an obvious go-to thought to be like, blah, 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 let's go to the internet. That was not.
I just realized I might have had internet in my home because my younger brother was a programmer, like naturally.
Ooh.
So I think he was on the internet without us knowing what the internet was like. It was like he was playing with Legos in his room, but now on a computer. You know, it was that
right.
Meant it was like, and in all fairness, it was that kind of dismissal also because that's what we were doing. Before I worked on computer, my brother worked on computer, and it was like the further back you went, the more dismissive people were of you and your computer time and computer brain.
Yeah.
So, so he was a kid, like an actual kid, and we didn't know what the internet was, but he showed me a website back then. And I'm like, what are you even? I was supposed to be impressed. He made something move on his site, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like.
I remember the old chat rooms with no graphics, with just scrolling text. I don't, like, before there were websites even, like just when it was like connected networks and somebody showed me and I was like, what the hell? That's so boring. Like, and it's not that I knew the internet was coming. I just like, it was just moving like, you know, like credits at the end of a movie. That's how it looked.
And I was after you. Like, I don't even know that reference.
Yeah. So I applied to colleges via paper and pen. And I think I did print out my essays, but they were printed from a word processor, which is not quite a computer and not quite a typewriter. It was in between. It was the taint. It was the taint of... Oh, that just bumped us to PG-13. All right. So the application arrives.
Yes.
They talk about what they were doing when it arrived. And
they're very upset that they're watching the Brady Bunch variety hour.
Whatever.
But it was cute. I think that's a cute exchange. And then like, haha, you know, let's say that I was reading Dead Souls and you were studying a big globe. Okay.
Yes, I like big globe.
Yeah, like just studying it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I know it's a comedy. I know that it's very fun. But we also talk about how Lorelai kind of always lies. And she always makes things that are very of not importance, of big importance. Like, and I feel like she passes that down to her kid. And this is just representative of all of us. It's not Lorelai or Rory. It is the stuff that I think we need to pay attention to, because I think a lot of like what our shows and movies are, a lot of it shows like, hey, these are all white lies that, you know, we can pass along, we can dismiss as jokes and stuff, but we end up being this in our society. Wow, yeah. Did I just go too far?
No, I don't know. I mean, yeah, but it's like they're anticipating this conversation coming up, and they're already making lies about it. Like it's like,
right,
this isn't going to come up. Nobody cares.
Okay,
it's
so
like,
you get it, right?
Why do they have to go this far? It does feel a little weird. And
but it's just a joke. But like, is saying just a joke? I don't. Okay, it's also a joke from 25 years ago. I don't know. Like, I can't tell if I'm being too hard on this because I've seen it so many times. So, what was your response to this?
I just feel like it was unnecessary. I just like their anticipation of this conversation of what were you doing when you got your application is like a ridiculous thing to anticipate. And if they answered, we were watching the Brady Bunch, or I was reading, you know, fancy books. I was looking at a big globe. Like, I don't know. It was just pretty funny.
I think
And then
that's
when
why
she's like,
it was
the application first question is, what were you doing when your application arrived? This counts as 50% of your grade. Like, that's the callback. Like, that's what makes it funny.
That is funny.
Like, I went to college. I have no idea what I was doing when my applications arrived.
Right.
But then again, I wasn't obsessed with any one school the way Rory is. But
then they did call it back when they went to the Kennedy's house. I'm forgetting their name now, but I have it later.
Springfield.
Springfield. That's right. So they did bring it back.
Springsteen. Sorry, I have Simpsons trivia tonight.
Was it Simpsons? Okay.
No. It was Springsteen, not Springfield. My bad. My Simpsons fans understand me. But yes, they brought it back. They joked about it. Again,
he didn't lie, which is part of why I really liked his character. Lorelai goes, you know what I mean? He goes, I can't say that I do. Anyway, and he just continues because she's not making sense. And he's just like straightforward about it.
Yeah,
so, but
just go
I know
with
that's later, but just the lies, the constant lies. Anyway, so you weren't, the weight of these things was significant to you, or was not?
Not even a little. Right. I don't care. I don't, like, I felt like that was filler for me. I was like, it doesn't matter. And like,
you never had like a college that I didn't, but I didn't really care. It was just a whole thing at that time. I didn't want to go to college.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go to college, but I didn't have good grades. I didn't have stellar grades. I had mediocre grades and like a pretty good SAT, but not stellar SAT, and like some extracurricular, but like I wasn't like I was a good medium student. And I didn't get into, like, back then they were like, you do 2 reaches, which would be like Yale and Harvard, are reaches, 2 shots that you think you're going to get into, and 2 safeties. So like 2 mediums and 2 like lows. And I got waitlisted at one of my regular, medium shots, and I got into one of my safeties, and I went. And that was the one I really wanted to go to because I thought it was the prettiest, which is not a good way to pick a school. But I thought Santa Fe was the prettiest city, and I wanted to go to Santa Fe.
You know what I was saying before we started? That sometimes you out-granola me. You just out-granolaed me.
What, picking a college based on its prettiness?
Yes, because it was just beautiful scenery.
I just wanted to be in that place.
Yeah.
So like, it's so
I would
pretty.
pick if I were to go away and there was a school on the beach, like, I'm picking that because I'm 17.
Yeah. And like, I mean, there were other things. It's a whole longer story, but that was like basically how it happened. I had visited, I fell in love with the place, and I figured college is college, whatever.
Yeah, a vibe is a vibe.
A vibe is a vibe.
Yeah. Okay.
So then we also find out that Lane is she's putting out an ad to get people to start a band. And she's overdoing it. She's doing the Rory, but for the other side. She wants people to apply to be in her band, and her requirements list is, here are the inspirations, and then it's like 300 bands. It's ridiculous.
Which, by the way, I cannot follow Lane's list. I can't. I mean, I hear words, Pixies. I hear, some stuff, but then she talks about the jams, and she's like, I can't believe you don't know what the jams is. Like, who are these people? And I'm like, who the hell are the jams? And I look it up just in case they're one of those bands that like, oh, I always knew their song, but like, I didn't know that was
everything
the jams.
That you never knew. Right.
Yeah. No.
It's a really,
No.
You know what you should do is not join Lane's band.
Right. Yes, because she said she's doing it to keep out the posers. That would be me if I applied.
Yes,
you're right.
I am also a poser, and I would not be fit for Lane's band.
No, she's too cool for me.
She's way too cool for me. Yes.
Like, I'll come to the show, though.
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
That sounds fun. Like, for some reason, even though I'm not into all of the band, I don't even know anything. Like just the fact that she knows that much, it's too much knowledge about music. And if you have talent on top of that, that's got to be great.
And I'm supporting my friend because she's doing a
Well,
cool
yeah,
thing.
sure.
That's a hard thing to do.
Well, I didn't know I get to be friends with Lane. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to be friends with Lane. I mean, I had friends in punk bands when I was in high school.
Really?
It was amazing. I'd go to their shows. Yeah. It was fun.
Oh my goodness.
That's your first, like, I know somebody famous. You're like, you were on stage.
That's
so cool.
a lot to put together as
so
a young
cool.
person. Yeah. It's incredible.
And, when you start off, the band, the venues give you Tuesday at midnight as your spot. And then how do you figure that out with school and stuff? We had to, get out of the house and be like, I really have to go. I'm not going to name names, but they know who they are. But like, we'd have to get out and go downtown at midnight on a Tuesday. And then,
that's very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for the best for Lane. I wanted this to be the whole episode of like Lane auditioning people and grilling them, but it would have gotten tired because we don't know half the bands she mentions.
Yeah, and I like how they just stuck it in here and there because it's long enough to know how cool Lane is, but short enough for me not to like tune out because there's too many references that I'm not going to get.
Yeah.
So for my stupid brain, like that worked very well. But here it is. The Gilmore's lying again. And Lorelai, what happened to the mother situation? You don't lie to another mother. You are hosting this child. You're allowing her to learn how to play the drums. Then you're allowing her to have that be headquarters for all the phone calls for the band that her mother can't know about.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah. She's definitely aiding and abetting this lie. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But she has plausible deniability. If Mrs. Kim caught her, do you think Lorelai could have plausible deniability and be like, I had no idea any of this was going on in my home?
Okay, please.
I don't know. I don't know if that's her reasoning that she thinks.
But there's like no way to have that. If they would have left Lorelai out and people just called Lorelai's home for Lane randomly, but not if she's fielding phone calls and saying things like, "Oh, dude doesn't have
answering
a
machine."
phone.
Yeah, you're right. It's on the answer. The outgoing message is like, "Hey, if you're calling for Lane." Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Lorelai's lying to Mrs. Kim.
And aiding and abetting. You're right to use those words.
Yeah, she's helping a criminal.
Criminal. Okay.
We get to Luke's and...
Oh, what did you think of Droopy Drawers?
Oh, so stupid.
Okay.
Stop.
All
Stop. Right. Lorelai, just stop talking for 5 seconds, Lorelai. It's okay. I don't...
By the way, season 3 is when they got a coach to like help them squish all these words into one episode.
Wow.
There was like a person going faster, faster.
This is the only thing I knew about the show before we started, remember? Is that they talk really fast. And it's because of dialogue like Droopy Drawers, where I'm like, we could have cut that out. It's fine. I don't know. It was like a page of text, a page of dialogue, of like, skip, fast forward, it's fine.
Really? But isn't that a part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
How long do you want to talk about Droopy Drawers? How about this? How much time do you want to spend on our show talking about Lorelai making fun of Rory for calling her Droopy Drawers? How much time do you want?
And you know what? In all fairness, until this time watching with you, a lot of that very quick stuff where she's just going on and on and on, I actually wasn't listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. Am I supposed to understand? No. Oh my God. Because, when like sometimes people are not listening to you, is it sometimes your own fault?
Yes. Yes. Sometimes you're boring. Me. I'm talking to me. I'm talking about me. Sometimes I'm boring. Sometimes every single one of us is a little boring sometimes. That's just being people.
And annoying.
Yeah. It's in all of us, you guys. And it's okay. And that's what people are. Sometimes we're a little annoying and sometimes we're a little boring. But if you're writing that into a show, I don't have to listen to it. I'd be like, all right, we made Lorelai so human that sometimes she's a little boring and a little annoying. I'm like, all right. Wow, they made her really, really relatable.
Well, because when you do some of that, sometimes the oi with the poodle already things, like, and I just love oi with the poodles already. Like, sometimes you hit gold.
Right. Okay, so what if Droopy Drawers had caught on as a hilarious reference back to Gilmore
I am sure
Girls?
that there are Droopy Drawers circles out there.
Oh my God. All
of
right.
a subsection of Gilmore Friends.
There's already more time than I wanted to spend on our precious podcast talking about Droopy Drawers. I asked you as a joke and you didn't understand my sarcasm. And now we're still talking about it. Can we get to Luke's, please? We can't talk about this anymore. All right, I'm going to take a sip of water. Okay. When I swallow, we're at Luke's.
Okay.
You keep laughing.
Welcome to Luke's.
Sweet water.
Would you like a table?
All right, we're at Luke's. This is again before school. And Rory is talking about how she's going to write her essay on the glory of Hillary Clinton, which is just so painful for those of us who lived through 2016.
Yes. And also what's interesting is that Rory's like, did you ever hear her speak? And like a big part of the 2016 campaign was she's such a good speaker that it was vilified.
Yeah.
It's just like, she's such a good speaker. Why are we listening to someone who could manipulate you with her words? Yeah. She's such a good speaker that she charges too much. Like, there was a lot of like, how else is she just the worst? Like,
yeah. Well, because she was up against this creature that crawled out of the frickin' Blue Lagoon to like ruin a campaign. It was sort of amazing to watch.
Oh my goodness. It was actually, the actual meaning of awesome. We're like, it was awesome.
Yes, and we collectively underestimated what she was up against in 2016. It's absolutely true. It's terrifying. But yeah, she's brilliant and she's a good speaker and she's very smart. And it was very painful to listen to Rory talk about it, not knowing what's coming.
And after 2016, I started hearing so many references to Hillary Clinton when female characters speak.
Yep.
And I'm just like, whoa, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We looked up to her. We loved her.
Yeah.
I mean,
so now is what's his face backwards hat, Luke, is he feeling sassy today?
Well, he still hates Dean.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. He's like, runs for the bus and he's like, it's the caffeine. And Luke goes, are you sure it wasn't your face?
What the?
It was so juvenile. So's your face.
Why?
So funny.
Are they trying to justify how he started like a physical fight with a young man?
Yes, remember when they fought on the street in front of Luke's and he still goes there?
Do they just continue to try to make them equals by Luke like stooping down to a level that the Dean, the child, is not going to?
Yeah, but Dean is the more
mature
of the two of them. Because Luke will say things like, sure she was running from your face? What kind of was 12-year-old? It was amazing. Also, and this is continuing the rest of the... There's no Jess. He doesn't work there. He's not having coffee there. Jess is not in this episode at all because sometimes he doesn't exist in this universe. His name is not spoken. He is not in the episode. It does not matter.
What did we hear from him last? Like that he... Oh no, he's traveling out of school. He's just back and he has a girlfriend. That's it. But then Rory was like, oh, I'm over him. Okay, so he's just having his own life.
Yeah, but they had I'm reading back last episode 2. Yeah, they have a little, he's dating a girl named Shane, who's blonde, and they have it
out at Dosey's Market.
Exactly. And that was only one episode ago. And now he does not exist in this universe for this episode. It's weird.
Well, we saw a morning. Well, we'll find out.
Nobody says his name. Okay, whatever. So she runs to catch the bus, and we find out at Chilton they're having a panel called The Business of Getting In.
I love this. And Paris put it together. Now, okay, it just dawned on me this time for the first time. Why would Paris give other people information? Now, it could be the only way that these two people would talk to her.
Right.
But it's a good panel if you're going to try for
yeah,
things.
because the people will talk to her and she will be on the radar of really good schools as like the go-getter who like cares about her community.
You're right, because this is the admissions officer and college consultant who are on the panel. So
it's a good panel.
By
the way, I don't know if you can hear the fireworks going off behind me, but this is a Queens thing where we just shoot fireworks for like 2 months.
So, wait, no, I did hear it. I did.
Okay, so if you're hearing
the
gentle,
it happens all of July.
If you're all of June and July is just fireworks season in Western Queens. So my apologies if the listening audience or our producer editor can hear that. It is not me. I'm not farting. It is fireworks because we're in Queens. That's it. So they have I went to panels like this when I was in high school where people would, usually it was people coming to various classrooms though. They would like come into like the AP English class and be like, here's how to get into college. You're all stupid. None of you got what it takes. Or do you? And then they'd like flip a desk and leave.
Very aggressive English.
You didn't have that in English?
We looked at a picture and had to tell a story about it. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did enjoy that.
Yeah. But one of the first things they say is, I wrote, the panel is down on Hillary Clinton.
Panel is down on her.
They say only losers write their college essay about being inspired by Hillary Clinton. A lot of people write their college essay about how they were inspired by their mother, which I also think is a cliche. My mother's the best. She's the hardest working. She sacrificed for me.
And the entire plot of Spanglish, a very good movie.
When I was in my college, I worked for the college admissions office. And I read many an essay.
Oh, what did you think?
All of them are the same. And they're all very boring. And the ones that stood out, we would pass around.
Wow.
We would be like, holy crap, read this one. And we would pass that around. Granted, I was not at Harvard. Like, this was not a competitive school as competitive schools go. But reading college essays is mind-numbing. Everybody loves their mom.
Wow, really?
Yep. Yep.
Oh, yeah, because who's going to be like, but your mom wasn't enough? No.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds humble to be like, my mom's the
greatest.
It's
a safe choice.
Yeah.
Right. Remember when there was the Republican primary when they were like, which woman would you put on the $20 bill or something? And everyone answered either my wife or my mom because it's a safe choice. It's like, it's so lame that like these are the people.
Now, I don't remember that, but that's a very interesting.
It was a very telling answer that men cannot name a single strong woman that they look up to that they would put on money besides their mom. My wife's the best woman I know. Put her on the $20 bill.
Well, what's worse, that or when it's like, no, I want women to be safe. I have a mother.
Right. Yeah. I have a daughter, so I know what it's like to want women to not be murdered.
I grew up with 5 sisters. I know what you mean.
Yeah. That stuff's great too. We love that. I didn't care about women's rights till I had a daughter. Now I understand that people don't want women to be murdered. Like, okay. Good job, buddy. Nailing it.
Okay, wait, can I just say Paris is on her usual 1,000, who we love. And she starts with, again, maybe this is why this episode for me is fun, is because she said something. She said, here, everyone always says that. This is my speaking voice. This is its natural volume.
Yes.
I have felt that way before. I think I was wrong, but I have felt that way. Do you know? Oh my God. We were, because my brothers are similar, more my younger brother. But anyway, we were sitting there, me, two of my brothers, and Xerxes, boyfriend, right? Okay. Next table over, they were like, they look at Xerxes and they go, yeah, this one of them looks at them and goes, yeah, I'm part of a loud family also. And I'm like, aw, that's sweet. And then I was like, wait, I think they're annoyed by us. Like,
That's such a neg. It's like, it's such a like, not quite, you're like, oh.
And my slow brain really took it as like, oh yeah, how'd they know we're family? We got a whole thing going on. And then I'm like, wait, are we being loud? But then I did not realize we were at that volume. And you know, we're outdoors in a restaurant, but you need to be considerate, and I forget volume.
Oh yeah, I've been the loud table in a diner, you know, like I've been annoyed by that table and I've been that table.
Yeah.
It's
so
just,
is it my volume?
sometimes
is it natural?
it might be, sometimes it's not, you know.
I gotta say, sometimes it's really fun to be on a loud volume.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One time I got together with like a bunch of friends. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. It was like a table of 8. There were kids there too. And I think that morning we were that table. We were just really loud in the restaurant and, you know, catching up, laughing, joking, having a couple Bloody Marys. Like it was the best time. And then I walked out of that restaurant and I was like, oh, we were that annoying table.
See, but it's because of that when I start to get annoyed at that table, I go, no, that table is having fun. Stop being a hater and just do what you're doing. Like, What are they doing? Laughing, catching up? Like all the things that you described are the warmest, most wonderful, and reason we go to restaurants.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But sometimes I go to a restaurant to cry and write in my journal.
Oh, that's
and that table
great.
bums me out because they're having a great time.
Oh, I love watching people having feelings. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time when I'm annoyed at something like that, it's because I'm jelly. It's because I just want to be at the party. And like if there's a party happening somewhere in my building that's really loud and it's annoying me, I'm like, but really think about what is annoying. And it's that you weren't invited.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Like that's what's upsetting me. It's not that like they're inconsiderate.
I mean, sometimes it's, I want to go to sleep and it's loud, but it's like, I always feel like your neighbors get one every once in a while, like maybe 2 a year, 3, 4 tops.
Exactly. And I get 1 a year too. And
exactly.
And if I annoy my neighbors, they're welcome to join the party. But like a lot of the time when I'm mad at the parties on the streets in my neighborhood, like the World Cup is very popular in Western Queens.
Oh my God. And like, we are just like,
and I can't be annoyed.
Waves of loud.
First of all, I can't be annoyed because it's happy sounds. But also, if I am annoyed, I could go to the party. You know, like I could join the party. It's fine. You know?
Yeah, it's just not your party because
it's just not my party. But like, it's not my party. I could go.
Right.
Be like, shut up, you guys. And then just be sucked into the joy of it.
Yeah, it's literally the world. So you're involved.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. Wow. All right. So
yeah, we're going too slowly. We got to pick this up.
No, we're not. We are. Loving it.
So we find out that they think that Hillary Clinton is lame. And they also don't want students who are too hungry for getting into their schools.
Yeah, they said the wrong thing is perfunctory answers like Hillary Clinton. Printing is bad because people weren't fully typing yet, so they have to like make out people's handwriting. Extracurriculars where they want to circle everything, which is what Rory was going to do because Lorelai is teaching her how to lie. And college paraphernalia on the walls their whole life.
Yep. So they just described Rory, basically. It's terrible.
Now, is that bad to have college paraphernalia on the walls your whole life? Like, isn't that just a vision board?
I don't know.
Isn't that just a goal wall or whatever word you want to use?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have kids and I also didn't care where I went to college. So
it is strange that Lorelai picked Harvard when her father went to Yale and they're all the same and should be the same to her because she left that entire, quote, world. And that world is Yale, Harvard, maybe Vassar's in there. Like, it's so... why did you start putting Yale specific? Also, why, as a person who was directed to go in a certain lane your whole life and ended up rejecting and pushing it away, why did you start a lane for Rory that was so specifically Yale?
Harvard.
Harvard, right. Her father went to Yale.
I think because her father went to Yale, she decided that Rory was going to go to Harvard as a rebellion to her father.
Like it's annoyingly Psychology 101 to even
because
like,
I think Richard probably said to Lorelai when she was a little kid, one day you'll go to Yale, and Lorelai was like, meh, because she's rebellious. And then I think when she had a kid to be rebellious, she was like, you won't go to Yale, you'll go to Harvard. And now we have Rory.
Yeah. Well, in this panel, Rory freaks out because she's hearing them describe her.
Yes.
And Paris turns to her and goes, hey, Rory, you have any questions? And Rory's actually like, no, like just gone. But she wants to, you start thinking of the conversation that Jess had with her so rudely in the car and saying, hey, I don't see you in the trenches asking questions while bombs are going off around you.
Uh-huh.
And this is sort of like the start of that. Now, it's not fair because, the first time the punk band went on stage, they probably messed up a lot more than their 10th time. So, this is the start of, hey, if you want to be this Christiana Amanpour, which I can never say her name, but I loved hearing.
Why didn't she choose her instead of Hillary Clinton?
Good question.
I wondered that. Because I also can't say her name. Correspondent from
Amanpour.
Amanpour.
I just love her name. I just want to hear it and never
I know.
say
I want
it.
to hear someone else say it right. Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, why didn't she pick her? It's a more unique choice than Hillary Clinton.
True. Very true.
But yeah, then we get to why do we have this scene at the grandparents'?
The freak out?
Yeah.
Was Emily not weird?
Emily was weird, but this scene didn't need to take place. Like this didn't have to happen at the parents' house.
It didn't. Emily just kept repeating what Lorelai said, and she was just, and then Rory was flustered as she came in, and Emily was worried about her, but then, I don't know. It was, it was weird.
Yeah, so we find out that they're both freaked out and they're vibing on each other's being freaked out and they're layering their freakouts on top of each other. Emily is being awful about admission. And then, I have the scene is just to establish that they're all freaked out. Emily's not helping.
Emily says, I heard that sometimes these people put a bunch of applications in the no pile just because, and you kind of go like, that has to happen, right?
I don't think that happens. I think there is overwhelm. I think when you have too many applications, you can weed them out stricter, but I don't think anyone gets in without being looked at. I don't think anyone...
because wouldn't you be afraid to be missing the golden child?
Yes.
As these uppity schools.
There was times when the applications came in that I, as a college student, would be reading the essays, but I would not be the final word.
Would you put it in a no pile?
I wouldn't put it in any pile. I would just say this essay is completely unreadable, but if they have otherwise amazing everything and could, if they just happen to have dyslexia, but they're otherwise amazing, maybe, but I was just supposed to give it a once over.
Interesting.
And then just say and this didn't happen all the time, just when they were slammed. And they were never slammed. It was very rare.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't go to a great school. It was one of those.
Well, there's also the idea that Emily's saying that Hollywood is taking their seats, right? And the insipid who did they say? The insipid Kate Hudson wants to go to school. The thing is Kate Hudson knocks on your school door, you're opening it, right?
Yeah.
It is that. Didn't was it Jerry Seinfeld, who got an honorary Queens College degree.
Didn't he really go to Queens College?
Oh, no, he did go to Queens College. I'm sorry, Jerry. I'm sorry. That was very rude of me to put that out there. But other people get like just honorary degrees.
Are you afraid of upsetting Jerry Seinfeld?
No, I'm afraid of saying something that is wrong when I could say the right things and he could be upset.
I think you're scared of Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld, I'm not afraid. Come at me. You didn't go to Queens College. But yeah, no, if a famous person wants to go to your school and they have most of what it takes, yeah, they get in.
Most of what it takes. I think they have to have a lot less than other kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can also get in if you have a ton of, even if you're not famous, if you have a ton of money, you can get in.
Yeah.
You know, fame or money goes a long way.
It really does.
I mean, lucky for me, I'm both famous and rich, so I can go anywhere I want.
It sounded like it.
Yeah.
You just chose that school?
So rich.
You wanted to be with the people?
Yes.
So, okay. Now, here's another thing is Rory is freaking out and Lorelai is freaking out. But does Lorelai get to freak out?
Lorelai should not be freaking out, but she is because she's Lorelai and she is a child. It's annoying. We go back home to the Gilmore household and the phone is ringing.
Lane.
What's that?
Yeah, it's all Lane in this one.
Yeah, it's Lane. Yeah. But I like that. Okay, so they're at home. This is before school. The phone is ringing. Lorelai says, Rory, if you're not up, get up. And then Rory exits her room fully dressed for school. I find this very funny. I find this insane, actually. She's fully and completely dressed for school. She doesn't stumble out in pajamas first to have coffee.
I didn't put that together, but you're right about the timing. She's
so weird.
That means she stumbled out, put the tights on, the whole nine.
The whole thing. It's a button-up shirt. She doesn't have her own bathroom. It's very weird.
Button-up shirt. I like how you're timing it. You're like, that takes time.
Yeah. I didn't leave my room fully dressed for school. I don't know. I just think that's so funny. Their morning routines on TV are just insane to me.
Yes, that's true. It's the timing of the show more than the morning routine.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's talk of Bananarama Fama.
Yeah, Bananarama.
Tangerine. What?
Yes.
Lane calling me out on my ignorance, saying these kids have no sense of history.
I
apologize, Lane. You're
That's
so
me.
cool. You are the coolest. I am not worthy. I'll buy your CD.
There you go. As you fell into a hole. CD.
I'll be over here with the rest of the dorks.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, you can make fun of me. That's fine.
But that's it for that, right? Like,
yeah. Then we get to the C plot or the B plot, depending. But it's Luke is at his diner and somebody comes in, a little kid comes in and he says, "You got money?" And the kid goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Can I have an egg cream?" The kid. And he goes, "What's an egg cream? Get out of here." And do you know what an egg cream is? Having grown up in New York City in diner culture?
I know that I have been told several times what an egg cream is, and I believe that my ear doesn't want to hear what it is because the name is so revolting to me that I black out for at least 20 seconds after the conversation starts.
Okay.
I can't with the egg cream. What are we talking about? Describe it. I'm not going to...
You take the blood of a male chicken... And you heat it up.
So New York.
Not to a boil, just heat it up. And then you drizzle it over an egg yolk.
All right.
Into ice.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's like a milkshake and seltzer. Like a vanilla milkshake and seltzer had a baby, you'd have an egg cream.
Okay, I think I did know that. I don't want them to have a baby. I'm egg cream racist.
You're egg
I
cream
don't want
cyst.
to. I'm cream.
And there's
cyst.
also a chocolate egg cream, which is a chocolate milkshake. But
why are we
seltzer.
putting seltzer into it? Enjoy the cream.
I didn't invent it. I don't need you to like it.
I'm just being a hater. I'll try it again. I don't know.
But then
it just sounds
a kid,
crazy.
he sends that kid packing. Then another kid orders 2 things that I had never heard of that I really hope you Googled because I meant to between watching and recording and I didn't because I was busy trying to curl this side of my hair. So another kid comes in and orders a black cow.
I don't know what a black cow is, but let's see.
And neither of us can Google
it
because we've sworn an oath to the...
I don't even know.
And then another kid orders a phosphate.
No, don't know what that is.
So the only one of those 3 that I had ever heard of was an egg cream.
Me too. Oh, I didn't even think to look it up for some reason.
And I was like, I don't know what a black cow is. I don't know what a phosphate is. And then...
A black cow sounds like a chocolate shake.
All right, I would Google it, but I can't.
All right.
I mean, I can do it on my computer, but I'm gonna look like this for a second. You want to do it? I'll vamp while you do it.
No, go ahead. I got it. It's a frosty blended treat combining vanilla ice cream, root beer, and chocolate syrup.
Okay, so what the kid said, it's a root beer float with chocolate syrup.
Oh, so he did say what it is.
He did say what it is, but I thought that can't be it because why is that not a root beer float? All right, I forgot that. Now look up phosphate.
Okay.
And we can edit this out entirely.
We will not. We will shame you throughout the whole thing. Phosphate is, this is what happens because we're looking at phosphate and not
you got to do phosphate like diner drink.
A vintage soda fountain drink made with flavored syrup, carbonated water, and a few dashes of acid phosphate, which provides a unique tangy sour bite and tingle, unlike the brighter taste of citric acid.
Ooh, pass. Okay. All right. So I did forget that the kid described a root beer float, but why is it different? It has chocolate and phosphate is just another soda drink. It sounds like before we invented the FDA.
A black cow sounds great.
Do you like a root beer float?
I think so. I haven't had much of it, but it sounds fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
But an egg cream sounds disgusting.
I see where you're... Yeah, sometimes it takes me a while to get to fully have a good palate. But
little kid, by the way, the little kid is right. An egg cream has to be served ice cold. That's the key. If it's not ice cold, it's just bleh. But ice cold, it's very nice. Very
the
refreshing.
Kids do a good job. My favorite is Luke saying, do you have money?
Do you have money?
It's a good question.
Yeah, because kids are stupid.
Well, but it means there's an adult with you who's asking you to do this,
Yeah. So we find out that it's Taylor's behind this. And that's it.
Do you know how we find out Taylor's behind this? Luke goes, if you lie, you'll go to hell. Tell me who's behind this. If you lie, you'll go to hell. Okay. And Taylor says the dark side of Stars Hollow. There's a whole
Remember when Paris thought there was a dark side to Stars Hollow?
That's right.
Remember when Paris was determined to find it?
But Taylor keeps thinking there is one. He thinks the skater boys are the dark side. And so he called them Z-boys. Have you ever heard of this? I'm putting on the glasses and telling you all about it. The dark side of Stars Hollow is because of the skateboarding Z-boys. Z-boys most famously refers to Zephyr competition. I don't know what that is. The competition team, a legendary 1970s group of skateboarders from Santa Monica and Venice, California. Their aggressive surf-style tricks and rebellious attitude revolutionized the sport and laid the groundwork for modern vertical skateboarding. Their story was popularized in the 2005 film Lords of Dogtown, which sounds like a good film. And what a reference. How are we supposed to know what Z-boys are? Who knew what Z-boys are? Please speak up. Oh, producer did already know. Did you know? You didn't.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't.
Well, this
but
all
I also
to say that Taylor wants to open up a soda shop. And for some reason, this is making Luke so triggered and so upset. Now, this actor, Scott Pedersen, good job on you, because you found a way to get angry at a soda shop and continue to be angry throughout every scene of this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, he's mad at everything. He's grumpy. Well, because it'll compete with his diner.
I guess. Since when does he really even care? And anything in the town competes with the diner.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't
you
know.
Can't.
Well, because it's his storefront, right?
I think it's because he hates Taylor.
I think he just hates Taylor. And I think Taylor is despicable also.
Yeah, true.
And also, like, we haven't been getting a lot of Luke lately, plot-wise. You know?
Oh, because Lorelai was mad at him, and it's about Lorelai, not him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
true. So
we need we're introducing Luke back, and this is what Luke's doing this episode. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
but next, this is Lorelai being a mom of a Chilton girl. She finally uses that school and figures out what to do about this Harvard application thing. She calls the headmaster and goes, "Hey, as a school that I'm paying to help this girl get into Harvard, what should I do?" And she does the first actual thing, aside from buy paraphernalia, to help this child.
Yeah. And she says, "I have the name of a person who went there, an alumnus, named Darren Springsteen." And Rory calls him and hangs up immediately. And then the funniest thing on the show, this episode happens, which is that Lorelai calls him back and does a Rory impression, which I think is the funniest, most horrible thing.
I have the whole thing. You ready?
"Hi, my name's Rory." What is it? Can you do it?
You did a really good Lorelai Rory voice.
Do it as Lorelai impersonating Rory.
Oh, wait, did I have that? No, I didn't. I have the stupid answering machine message. So you do it because you're doing it so good.
"Hi, my name's Rory. I'd love to have lunch with you." "Oh, lunch? That sounds great. My mama will be coming too. All right, bye now." That was it. And it was insane and hilarious.
And Rory goes, "Not so breathy." And this is a great line. Lorelai says, "That's how chickens talk." Lorelai, you have not taught this girl how to do anything yet, because she doesn't even call her grandmother when she wants to get out of Friday night dinner.
That's right.
So, and also, she's young. I used to get scared talking to adults as well. That takes time and getting used to, and going, "Hey, just call now," is not, or maybe it is, whatever. This is cute.
Yeah, I thought it was adorable.
This is cute because it's like, I think we all had this moment of
I thought
like,
it was funny.
I need to talk like a grown up. I can't do it.
Yeah. "Hello, my name is Rory, and I was wondering if it's too awkward."
You're right. Oh my God, I was even worse than Rory, although hanging up is the best.
Hanging up was hilarious.
Yes.
And then the brief mention of Star 69, although the person calling was not him, it was somebody for Lane.
Oh, yeah.
Even they thought it was Star 69, but who remembers Star? Could we just all remember Star 69 for a quick minute? Before caller ID was ubiquitous, we had to Star 69 people.
Let's have a moment for Star 69.
It was a wild time, you guys.
Okay, listen, Star 69, because we did have caller ID, but it was before caller ID. Star 69 is if somebody did hang up, and they did a lot, you can find out what their number is, but do you know it was like 75 cents every time you did that?
Yeah.
And I was always scared. You always did the math of like, is this worth having on my bill? Is it worth my parents finding out that I used extra, stuff and put it on the bill? So it was always...
But the worst thing is that Star 69 would not give you the number. The Star 69 would automatically call it.
Oh, that's right.
So you wouldn't just say, "Oh, it was, my crush on Tony."
Right.
It was Tony calling. It would just call the number back. So you wouldn't even know who you were calling. So somebody would pick up and you would go, "Why did you just call me?" And they would go, "Who is this?" And they'd be like, "Who's this?" And you'd be like, "I Star 69. Who's this?" And they'd go, "This is Tony's mom." And you'd go, "Oh," and then you'd hang up.
But then there's also the times where people try to shame you out of like the star 69. Oh, you star 69. Yes, you hung up on me. We're not turning this around.
Yeah. And then Tony's mom would be like, who called us? So she'd star 69. Then your mom would pick up.
But then there was like a star 67, I think, and that blocked your number from star 69.
Yes, and that was not as public because it blocked you from star 69, so they couldn't call you back.
Right, but then there are numbers that said, oh, if you're star 67ing or having your phone number hidden, you can't even call me.
That's
you
right.
have to unblock your number by pressing star something else and then call me.
Yeah,
wow,
there's a whole system. And now we just text. You know what? We gave up on the whole calling thing entirely. Now we just text and email. It's a way better system.
And we also block people. So
no more star 69. But can I get a woo-woo for star 69? That was a wild time. We loved it.
Yep. And so Trixie McBimbo and Bambi McBimbo now have a plan to go to Springsteen's house, which is one of the most amazing scenes. But first, I want to thank some Patreon members. Thank you so much for being our Patreon supporters. What we do, one of the Patreon perks is you get the episode a little early and you get it with some extras. Now, why am I shimmy shaking while I say that? That's how excited I get over that stuff. No, but we have these conversations before. We have these false starts. We have this talk about, how the show went afterwards. And that's one of the things. You could see all of them by going to Patreon. And you could look under Gilmore Friends in the patreon.com Patreon app, or wherever. Why am I flubbing now? Now. Get it together.
Sometimes when we're done with the show, I forget that Patreons have access to us after the show. And I wonder if we could stitch all of those together. Like one time I just stood up and like slammed something on the desk. And then I was reminded gently that we are still recording for the Patreons. And I was
I think one time we talked about our dead parents and I was like, oh, right.
Right, the Patreon. So yeah, you get access to all that stuff. If you join Patreon, you can see us forgetting that we're being recorded. And it's usually hijinks. Not usually, sometimes hijinks.
There's more information on GilmoreFriends.com about everything. So take a look at that. Thank you, Patreon supporters. All right, now the scene.
Can we get to the Springsteen's household? So,
I have so many thoughts about this. Oh
I know.
God.
So Lorelai won't stop talking. First of all, Lorelai came. At first, I was like, "Why is she coming?" And then I realized, because she's a child, and like,
that makes sense that your mom comes.
It does.
You're a
it
child.
Does.
Yeah,
I know. I was just I was an unusually, independent child. But yes, Lorelai would come, and but she's talking a mile a minute and saying crazy things.
She does what Lorelai does when she's nervous, and she's nervous outside of anybody outside of Stars Hollow. Mm-hmm. Any new person just trips her up.
Yep.
So maybe she has like some sort of something that she needs to be in a small town because it's the only way that she can get. But I don't know.
The Springsteens are so much like her parents. Do we not see that they are sort of Emily and Richard?
So it's almost like they are Emily and Richard on 1,000, but also in some storybook written by Emily and Richard where they leave this other daughter out.
But this couple and this household is familiar to Lorelai.
Yeah, because that was my other thing thinking about it this time when we watched is that Lorelai didn't know any of the answers to the trivia questions around the table, but she grew up in this. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that they quizzed each other during dinner, but she remembers everything. Like she has such a good memory. She has such good references because she remembers everything. She even remembered Zoltan, Kamenei, the name of all of the art pieces the names that he mentioned. I just think that she would know the answers to some of those questions.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I only knew Shiva. I didn't know a lot of the answers. And I didn't even know a lot of the artists that he named, which was annoying. Okay, but can we talk about Carol?
Yes.
So we meet the kids. They are insufferable. One of them is Jennifer.
Are they?
Jennifer wants to be friends with Rory instantly. I get cautious around people who want to be friends that quickly over nothing. Like, you're in my home, we're going to be best friends, right?
See, okay, I have a problem that I can't gauge what's what when it comes to those things. Because on the one hand, these are people who are being warm and welcoming, and they're trying to, like, people go over the top when they're unfamiliar, but they're trying to make you feel at home and like you're completely at ease, and they go too far and want to get too close. But are they just being warm and welcoming? Why is there an eerie vibe? Why does it feel like a haunted house? Even you said, what is she going to find upstairs?
Yeah.
Are these kids, is the direction to make it feel like these kids have an incestual relationship, the way they're interacting with each other? Or is this once again the writer and everybody showing us how much rich people are so weird?
Yes, I think this is like a rich people are weird thing, and snobs, and like, you know, like the rich smarties, the Harvard alum.
But are they being snobs?
I think they're a little bit snobby.
But what was snobby about it? It feels snobby, but is it just because we know there? Is it hoity-toity more than snobby?
I guess hoity-toity, because they are perfectly welcoming. They're not like they're not looking Lorelai up and down and being like, "Where'd you get those shoes?" No, they expect
her to be in this because her kid's going to Harvard. But they are looking down, because then when you bring up the kid, which is what you want to get to, Carol, is it?
Yeah. So they're like Carol, and they say Carol is on her own path.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I was like, oh, well, now I want to hear the Carol story. Like that sounds great. And I assumed, like Carol mentions later, that this means drugs. Because when you say, oh, she's kind of doing her own thing, this is the rich people euphemism for she didn't go to college, she's on crack, or she's in the Chelsea hotel with a needle in her arm, is how Carol puts it.
Because they said it so somber.
Mm-hmm.
She's on her own path.
And I know people who say this about their own kids, where like the kid just cannot figure out what they want to do. And they're like, we're trying to, you know, steer him toward, we're trying to figure it out. You know,
I was this kid.
Yes.
I was this kid that like, you constantly feel like you're embarrassing yourself and your whole family because you have this like weird artist brain. Actually, I did kids parties.
See?
So, yeah.
Did you dress as a bunny?
Yes, for Easter.
See?
I dressed as everything you could think of. And like...
Everything I could think of?
Yeah, probably.
All right, you take a chicken.
It feels so like garbage, but I'm at the age of 50 and I now see both sides of it. And it's unfortunate that when your parents' pendulum swings so far one way, you end up swinging too far the other way.
I know.
Where like, you're wrong too. You become wrong too. This is not the way to go either. But in my younger age, I'm like, yeah, fight them. And Lorelai, who goes to that Carol, the actual person, her in this scenario, as you mentioned before, her character, she says, hi, other daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because you're totally fine with the dismissal of it. Or like, maybe that's just a toss away, but it's like heartbreaking to me because, you know, you pick the artist route and you're going to suffer, and you pick the business or the corporate or whatever, you know, straight conveyor belt as she calls it route, and you're going to suffer also.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we're all choosing our suffering. And at this age, you're being asked to like choose the suffering that you're going to do for the rest of your life. At least now we understand that like every so often you can change your career or your mind, or like you have some time. I don't know. It's just too much.
Mm-hmm. Oof. Yeah, I know. It's a lot. And I think it's made worse by the fact that we like her. I liked Carol.
Yes.
Like she seemed like the Lane character. You know, she's artsy and she's a little weird. But I think that she's such an embarrassment to her parents. is what is a turnoff about the conveyor belt. That like these parents obviously favor the tennis playing kids, and they ask about, they see a family photo and there's a third daughter or a third kid, second daughter, and they're like, oh, where is she?
You know what's not fair about that is from Carol's perspective, she's going, they're just trying to please my parents. But there's a perspective where all four of those people actually have a similar personality. I think they truly enjoy this, and the parts that they don't enjoy about it, they know are necessary for this kind of life which they want. And you happen to be born not fitting into that. So like that sucks because you're all being yourselves, but you're the only one who doesn't fit in this. And in order to get this kind of lifestyle, you gotta go with this flow. And that sucks so much. But I don't know that her siblings are just trying to please the parents. I think they're actually enjoying being quizzed and like playing
they
tennis
seem like they're
with each
having
other.
fun being quizzed. And like if you have your dad who's like a savant genius,
it sounds like fun.
Yeah.
And there's another part. Rory says to her, my mom would be happy no matter what I did. I call BS on that. Like you wouldn't believe. I call BS on it with every single time that Rory did anything that was not of what Lorelai wanted. She started a fight with her and she pulled the quote mom card. So no, I don't think so. What if all of a sudden she didn't want to go to Harvard and she wanted to go backpacking across Europe for 4 years before? Lorelai would just go, yeah, sure.
Or she wanted to get married and have a kid.
That's a better example. Thank you, Carrie.
If she was like, yeah, I don't want to go to Harvard, I want to have a baby. Lorelai would be like, okay, I love you, baby.
Yeah. Oh, I wanna do what grandma does. Would you be cool with that?
Yep. I don't know. I think she just meant she'd be happy wherever I go to college.
Do you think she would be?
I don't know. I think Lorelai doesn't want her to go far. I think they're codependent. So if she goes to UCLA, I don't know. I think Lorelai would be afloat. She would be, yeah. But this family, do you think this family makes Harvard look good or bad?
I think good. I think hoity-toity is a thing that people aspire to if they're not there already. I think this version of snobbery is very comfortable in an American lifestyle. I think you get a lot of doors open. I think these people are warm enough. I think they're snobs in a way that they enjoy and they're welcoming about it. I think if they have, a racist thought, they kept it to themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're not bringing up politics for no reason. They're not trying to fight with you. I mean, everyone's going to have their own life, but they're being...
You don't think the general quiz at dinner time is geared to make someone feel stupid?
I think they expect... the snobbery here is that they expect everybody to know the same information that they know.
Yeah. So you don't think Lorelai, like a part of Lorelai was like, this sucks? Because she didn't know the answers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not... It wouldn't be fun for me because I don't know any of the answers. But the mom wasn't chiming in at all either. Maybe it's fun to be a voyeur, but maybe don't direct the question at me because I'm not going to know. But I don't know.
But that's a very isolating conversation. Like that's not a conversation. Being barraged with like trivia at dinner is like not a get to know you conversation. And it's not, I find when I see that, and this happens a lot on TV where like, this is what we do for fun. And then it's something that like an outsider would be very uncomfortable with.
That's a good point.
And I'm like, this is uncomfortable.
I don't want to be quizzed, even on
I don't want to be challenged.
Know.
Like sometimes you're not in the mood to be challenged, Like even if you know the answer, you're like, I don't want to talk about the, Jurassic era right now.
You're right. That isn't welcoming because even if that is your fun and eventually, somebody can join in on that especially not on the first meet to just start getting into your own
Right.
familiar and familial.
Right. It's a
thing.
Springsteen thing.
Right.
And be like,
right,
well, you
right,
have company now. So like, and we're supposed to be like getting to know each other. So like, I don't really want to play your game that makes half the people at the table feel stupid and excluded.
Fair. Yeah.
So I didn't think I thought they were welcoming on paper, but they're also eager for you to know how smart they are. And I'm guilty of this too. Like if we get on a tear of a topic that I feel like I know a lot about, I want everyone to know that I'm really smart about this particular topic. And like, I think that's isolating for people sometimes.
But I think sometimes like in conversation when it's with friends, do you want everybody to know what you know, or are you just so excited about a topic that like it feels good to talk about it for like at length? Like I started this podcast because I can't shut up. So this is what I'm like.
You said you started this podcast to spend more time with me.
Secretly. I don't want to embarrass myself.
But yeah, I feel like this form of like, we always do trivia at dinner time off the top of our heads is not, to me, is snobbish in a way that is I don't know, isolating. Like if you had a dinner party with all Jeopardy contestants, this would be really fun. But I don't think this is fun.
If we had a dinner party and suddenly we're like, hey, let's play poker while having dinner. A lot of people don't want to play poker either. And we love it. And it's like, how is this not fun? It's like, well, not everybody wants to do little math equations.
Right.
Or
It's like when the dog comes to the dinner table and starts eating off everyone's plate. And everyone's like, oh, a dog. I love dogs. And I'm like, I don't want a dog eating off my plate. And people were like, Carrie, why do you hate dogs? And I'm like, dog just took a poop on my dinner. And I don't like it.
Thank you, because I always feel uncomfortable about like, oh, I'm not being chill about animals, but I'm like, could we separate them from our food? But not everyone believes that.
Not everyone. Yeah.
Some people make out with their dogs.
I know.
And shout out to you people. I don't.
But if I was at a dinner party and I was at a dinner party with 6 people and 5 of those people started making out with their dogs simultaneously, I'd be like, I'm uncomfortable. Like, I'm going to go wash my hands. P.S. Rory never washes her hands. So gross.
Why isn't everybody washing their hands? Why didn't she wash her hands before they sat down? I mean, the washing of the hands thing was so weird. Also,
it was only to get us to meet Carol, like, obviously. But, like,
that's why they had, like, the downstairs bath is being renovated. You must go upstairs.
Yeah. You can't use the downstairs bath. Please pee in our pool.
and then Rory, like, being so nosy. But, who wouldn't be? I walk by people, like, when I go for a walk and the windowsill is open. I'm taking a peek. I want to know what your house looks like.
I'm looking in. That's why I get some shades. Otherwise, I'm looking in. It's not my fault. This is human nature. So I write, she's a rabbit and she shits on Harvard. Rory doesn't wash her hands. I wrote that down. And then can we get to the town meeting? Because there's a diorama in it.
Oh, okay. Because I was concerned that I would lose you during this town meeting.
The town meeting's ridiculous. Always. Again, another ridiculous town meeting. They vote to move money from one bank account to another. And then he's like, I want to do an old-timey, like, soda jerk shop. And then he unveils the diorama and people are, and I thought this was very funny. People are obsessed with the size. What is it? That the diorama is not to scale and that the horse is too big. And everyone's like, look at the horse. You could walk underneath it without crouching.
I love how they're not like leaning into the outward making fun of Taylor, but they know how much it's bothering him. So that everyone's just adding to it. But they're saying the same thing and it's so stupid.
It's so great. It's so stupid. But then he's like, eminent domain. If 3/4 of the town wants this, does anyone oppose? And then nobody votes. And then Lorelai goes, we like ice cream, to be a jerk. Nobody stands up to it.
We like ice cream, with her McBimbo accent. But do you notice? She goes, we like ice cream. Luke starts in the same level of anger, but as she goes, it's a soda shop type thing, his anger dissipates and goes, so you like this? And that was it. So Lorelai likes it. I'm not mad anymore. Go
I
ahead,
didn't notice.
Taylor.
I gotta watch
do
that
whatever
again.
you want. I'm like, what is this? Like, he just went down and shout out to the acting. Good on ya, because you kept the level when you turned to her. She just said, hey, ice cream, and you went, all right, but you're gonna pay through the nose tip. I'm still mad at you, but Lorelai likes it, so I'm gonna have a shop next to me with Taylor, and I have to deal with him every day, and I'm his landlord, and I need more of this guy in my life. Yes,
Yeah.
when Lorelai says, then yes.
Yep. We'll discuss terms. So there's going to be a new soda shop. As we're leaving the town meeting, Lane meets a boy.
Yes.
And they speak Chinese, which
one of my favorite scenes of all time. And I don't even mind reading the subtitles of this one. I love it. Speak whatever language you want. That
she finds
fireworks.
She finds her person.
Fireworks.
They speak in nothing but bands.
Oh God.
At each other. And they talk blah, 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 blah. Bands. I didn't understand a word.
Not a word.
But they are vibing on each other. Ooh. They are squishing and squashing and they are making out with dogs together. And it's great.
She says, I love you. It makes complete sense. It doesn't matter.
I mean, I love that you do that and I didn't catch his name right away. You told me his name is Dave. I hope we see Dave a lot more. That'll be in predictions. I think that we will. Then Dean says, what do we do when you go to school? Aren't we breaking up? Kind of out of nowhere, as if this has never occurred to them before.
Out of nowhere, but it makes sense when she gets her Harvard
application.
Like it's on topic.
Yeah, it's on the radar.
Yeah,
yep.
And it's a good question. What happens when you leave? I wouldn't say we would just break up. Like, who breaks up over not being with each other? You just be with each other less? You're so upset about being with each other less that you go less?
Well, yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Going to Boston from Connecticut?
I don't know. I don't know their lives. Yeah.
I didn't have a high school sweetheart.
I had a high school sweetheart and he was a year older than me and he left for college and we did break up.
Because he left for college?
Yes, that summer. But also that summer, I met a guy.
Mm-hmm.
So it was sort of good timing. We were going to break up at the end of that summer anyway before he went to school. And I happened to meet a boy. So kind of worked out.
I mean, for the most part, it's going to work out.
The most part
to all the high school sweethearts that are still together, shout out to you. I think it's fantastic. It's very rare. You know that. I know that. Most high school relationships are silly and need to end. Okay, there I said it. Whatever. If you made it through that, congrats. Whatever. Most people get divorced anyway. So imagine meeting your sweetheart in your high school.
You were just going for it.
What?
You just gave every scenario. Some people end up in a polyamorous relationship with 6 people and live in a basement in California. Shout out to the polyamorous people living in basements in California. Just okay. But yes, a lot of people break up when they go to college. A lot of people make out with dogs while they're eating. A lot of people put turtles up their butts when they're on roller coasters. Shout out to people who put turtles up their butts. Okay. You don't want to leave anyone out. I hear you. No one's being left out. We love everyone. We're like Elmo. Elmo loves everyone. Elmo has learned.
I do. Elmo love you. Chemda love you. All right. But
are we getting yelled at?
No. What was your relationship with this guy? Was it like were you guys talking like forever? And
yeah, but you're 15.
Right.
So 15, when you're forever, I was like, we should get married. And like, we were going to get married.
Okay.
Because we were 15 and 16,
And then even when you were 17, you stopped wanting to get married.
Well, the realism of being 15 sunk in a little bit where you're like, yeah, we're a little young for this intensity. But it's your first relationship, so you don't realize that. It's just,
so would it make sense for Rory and Dean to break up?
I don't know. It depends on how they're feeling. Also, they have like almost a year or like 8 months, I guess. They have like 8 more months before she actually leaves for school. A lot could happen in that time, and they could try to do long distance, or they don't have to. A lot of people.
Is this regular where people go, okay, do we break up now?
Yeah, I think it's regular.
Really?
And then a lot of people try to do long distance, and it doesn't work because college is such a new experience that you feel weighed down by holding on to a long distance high school boyfriend feels like a burden rather than a joy.
I totally get that. It's interesting that it's a burden at that age, because at a different age, it's like, yeah, you're gone for a couple months.
Yeah, but you're gone for a couple months, but you're meeting like 100% new people. You know, and they're doing new things and they're interesting, and you know, you're being exposed to like new ideas and a new schedule, and everything is new. Everything is new. So you're like, oh my God, I can like go to a diner at 3 a.m. and like, you know, whatever. And then you're meeting all these new people who are also doing what you're doing. So they're in the same boat of the newness, and you can feel weighed down by person back home, but not always. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes
I don't know
you end
either.
up in a basement in California with 9 other lovers. It's fine. Everyone does what they want.
Well, okay. I do want to know about people who broke up right before college, and people who made it through, because it's just interesting to me, because you're right. Like, high school is so young. You're still trying on personalities during high school, and you're kind of like deepening some of the traits that you find compatible with yourself in college, and that might be just not compatible anymore with that. Like, how likely is it that you both landed on who you are so early?
I know.
I don't know. Some people do. Yeah.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, there's no formula, because some people it works.
Yeah, some people, they are that person like the whole time. They're steady
or they
about
grow,
it.
or they grow in the same.
Yes,
they grow in tandem with someone else.
Yeah,
in concert with someone else.
Oh, I know.
And so then they can grow up together and like do that. And then some people don't.
That's so lucky to meet the person so early on and be in that concert together. It means, I don't know, it means like the depth of your relationship is beyond what you can start, I don't know, with somebody like at 60 or 50 or I don't know.
Yeah.
You just know. Who knows? All right.
And then let's see.
And by
Jackson,
the way, when they got to those people's house, just to go back for a second, she had her papers and he goes, "Is that a gift?" And she said no. And my mind said, Lorelai, you know to come with a host gift.
Yeah, you have to bring a hostess gift. Yeah.
Every time I am reminded of how rude that is. Why didn't you come? Flowers, a bottle of something, a dessert or something. That was weird, because Lorelai grew up in this.
Yeah, donuts.
These people
from
are doing
Luke's.
You a favor. Donuts and not coffee. Donuts from Luke's. No, not to these people's house. But yeah, even that, who cares?
I mean, something, a token gift. You know?
Yeah. Oh, donuts from Luke, because rich people love small town, like for
small
a moment.
Town crap. Yeah, with a little box.
Yeah.
Be like, these are some local donuts from our small town garbage. Crap town. We're stupid. It's quaint for you.
But Rory does say to Dean, this is too serious, the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought their conversation made sense for high schoolers.
I think so too.
Yeah, he's bringing it up, which I think as a dude at that time, or in general, I heard that like some guys will just piss you off until you break up with them.
Yeah.
Because...
Or some guys will just cheat on you. Some guys will just say you're in a relationship and then just not be in the relationship because you're not there.
I mean, women cheat too.
I know, I'm just saying. But like, that's one way to go. One way to go is that you both claim you're an item when you're in the same town. And then when you're separated, you both just have other relationships.
That's true.
It's terrible. Well, not terrible. I mean, the lying part of it is not good. I wouldn't recommend that. Why does Jackson want to keep tools in Rory's bedroom? That's the weirdest thing.
So weird.
So creepy. So weird. I don't like that. Jackson's too weird.
So odd. And by for the first time also in this rewatch, the reason why Rory's name was even brought up in that scene is they were mocking Jackson about his art something or other. And then they're like, oh, forgive us. And they were like, pretend to kiss. And he's like, in public. And Lorelai goes, yeah, get Rory, have her be added to this, like, whatever thing. Did you catch that? I was like, what? And he goes, oh, speaking of Rory.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's the first time I caught that. Very
gross.
strange.
Yeah, Jackson's gross.
So, no, Lorelai did that.
Yeah, Lorelai's gross.
Yeah.
Everyone's gross.
But why? First of all, your kid goes to college. That doesn't mean they moved out. They come back. Weekends.
Right,
holidays.
right. She still needs a bed.
Summer.
Yeah.
She didn't move out. And even after they move out, it's very likely they move right back in like 5 minutes later. Give it
in this
space.
economy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but they also don't go to college and then find their own space right away. They come back and look for a job.
Yeah. I know. It's ridiculous. And Jackson's a ridiculous person. But then we get back and we get the voicemail from Darren. And he's like, good news, kid. You're going to Harvard. The Simpsons are going to Harvard. And like, then there's, I don't know, awkwardness about that.
Well, the thing is I thought, yes, this is why she goes to Chilton. This is because now this guy is he said, I'm going to tell the admissions people and I'm going to give the headmaster a call.
Yes.
And that's why he can say, pack your bags. Now, pack your bags actually got them to feel awkward because the tools in Rory's room and the dean asking for a breakup is just getting them both on the same page where they're realizing they're about to live apart. And that made everything somber.
Yep.
And they
it's
were
getting
like,
too real. It's getting real. It's getting hectic.
In all fairness, I think they are too enmeshed. However, the moment of like, oh wow, that's so real. That
it's starting to feel real. I know, and that's painful.
Yeah, it's an adjustment that's so big for both people. So,
yep.
So they decide to forget their responsibilities and just hang, which just leaves us with the weirdest final scene.
Yeah, they just skip off together down the street, right?
While Luke is being mad at Taylor,
Luke is
yelling
furious
at
because
him.
he already has the sign. Whatever.
And there's an extra P in shop, and that's annoying. Yeah. Okay, what do you think about this episode? It's the spring.
I mean, I thought this episode was kind of all over the place. I thought meeting the Darren Springfield family was really weird. Can we get into predictions? Oh no, do trivia.
Yeah, and
first.
There's not, because this is, I don't know, it's so weird. It's even weird trivia, I think. The person who played the Carol Springsteen, the other daughter, she has some acting stuff that I looked up. She's in 13 episodes of the 80s show, which is, I think, what she's in the most. And her credits stop in 2013. This episode was in 2002. And then you look up what she did. Tinsley Grimes, which is her name, is known as Tinsley Webster. Tinsley Webster received her BA in English from UCLA, blah, 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 blah. Turns out she's studying to be a doctor at the time.
Oh.
It's just, I thought the irony.
That's so cool. Yeah. That she was the nerd. She did acting on the side and then became a doctor.
Right.
I love that. So that's cool.
Yeah. And then Valerie, who is on TikTok and all the platforms, I watch her on YouTube. She was the key costume designer for Gilmore Girls. And she said the town hall meetings were filmed during the day, but they were pretending to be at night. So they would have to place this fabric over the whole building. And it blocked out the sun and it was fireproof. So it was like super hot. So in between takes, they like pumped cool air and everyone was like sweating. And they were just really long. And so I don't know why, but they always had to do it at night for the meetings. I would say make Sunday afternoons the meeting or something, because it sounds like it was a torture steam thing there.
I know.
And the last thing is so innocuous, but I wasn't sure if you caught this. The guy at the counter, when everybody was asking for a cow and an egg cream and whatever, he was the construction guy. Hey, give me a rye and cheese on toast. Yeah. Hey, I'm just a regular guy now. I'm at the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
cool.
all. Mm-hmm.
I am always amazed when I hear that actors have to tolerate insane temperatures.
Right?
I once was walking down a beautiful street in Brooklyn that had a stoop that was being used for a movie shoot that day, and it was probably 95 degrees, and whatever they were shooting took place in the winter. And these actors were there in winter coats, hats, scarves, gloves, all of it. And I'm sure on camera, it looked like it was cold, because what's the difference? And everyone around the whole production with the lights and the sound and the trucks and everyone is in shorts and a t-shirt. It looked so weird. And I thought, these people really love what they do. They are dedicated to this craft to where they are they've got to be baking to death in there.
They are. Wasn't it one of the trivias that I said, like, I think in season 1 was about how I think it was Suki who almost fainted in a promo shot because they're pretending it's winter and they're in LA this whole time. They're in LA in that town meeting and it's during the day. I mean, that's bananas.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah.
I think we have not seen the last of the Springfields.
Okay.
I think the Springfields come back. I think we have not seen the last of Carol, and I hope that I'm right, because I think Carol is an interesting character. I want Carol and Lane to meet. I want Carol to become friends with Rory. I want them to eventually meet because I think they have a similar vibe. And I think these are the kinds of people that Rory's drawn to. I think she's drawn to freaky artist types.
Interesting.
Because they're interesting to her. And I somehow, and I feel like I might be wronger now, but I still think somehow, some way, Rory Gilmore does not end up at Harvard.
Why?
I have that inkling. I don't know how I think that. I don't know why I think that.
Where does she go?
I don't know where she goes. I don't know if she goes to a community college or someplace closer, or she does something totally different, but like, I don't know. I feel like it becomes a life choice somehow. I don't think it's because of Dean. Maybe she runs off to New York City with Jess and goes to NYU instead. Does something weird. Maybe she goes to NYU. I don't know. I don't think the show has the budget to shoot at NYU, but maybe by season 4 they do. I don't know. But I still think somehow Rory does not go to Harvard. I haven't worked out quite how. Maybe she becomes friends with Carol and Carol convinces her to become a Playboy bunny and she can make a ton more money that way and doesn't need a college degree to do it. So I think we haven't seen the last of it. I think Dave and Lane, I think we're owed a Lane relationship. She's had several misfires. She touched some guy's hair and like that. That never blew back on her. I don't know. But I would love to see Lane and Dave together. I do think Dean and Rory break up before she goes away. If she goes away to college, I do think they break up before she goes. And
how does the breakup go?
Bad. Because one of them wants to stay together. And one of them says it's not realistic. He wants to stay together. And she says it's not realistic to stay together when I leave for Sarah Lawrence or wherever else she goes. Maybe she does go to Harvard. I don't know. I just feel like it's been such a plot point that we need to show that, like, kids, sometimes your dreams don't come true. Or like she gets in and suddenly doesn't want to go. I do believe she'll get in. I just don't think she ends up going. Maybe she messes up at Chilton somehow, tragically. I don't know. That's it.
You think she's owed like a downturn?
No, I don't think she's owed a downturn, but I don't know that she's been completely true to herself this entire time.
Mm.
Like if she'd rather, maybe she takes a gap year to travel. It does seem like she likes to travel more than she likes Harvard, and she even said that in this episode. She's like, I'm only circling travel from now on. So like maybe she takes a gap year to backpack around Europe. Although how are we going to film that? I don't know. But maybe she joins the Peace Corps, something. I don't think she has a comeuppance, like something bad happens to her. She makes a terrible decision. I think that just somehow she doesn't end up at Harvard. I don't know how.
Well,
everyone's making out with dogs.
Subscribe where you are. There are a couple buttons in front of you. One of them is subscribe. If one of them is not subscribe, click on another button. But thank you. We'll see you in the next episode.
Have a great day or night, everybody. Bye.
I say have a great night. Good night.
All right, I'm sorry.
That I demand it.
Okay.
Oh.